We have a serious problem in America, and I don't mean that as a dramatic opener. I mean it literally, because what just came out of Seminole County, Florida, is one of the most genuinely disturbing stories I've covered. And I need you to actually pay attention to every single detail of this, because none of it is exaggerated. None of it is made up somehow. It keeps getting worse the further you go into it. Isabel Valdez, 15 years old, and Louis Lippert, 14 years old, were arrested on January 23rd at Lake Brantley High School in Altamonte Springs, Florida. The police received an anonymous tip that a student was planning to kill a classmate on campus. When police pulled him out of class and started investigating, what they found in Valdez's backpack and what she told investigators in the interview room is the kind of thing that makes you put your phone down and stare at the wall for a minute. Valdez told investigators she was obsessed with Adam Lanza, the shooter who killed 20 children and 6 adults at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012. She told police she used to be able to hear Lanza's voice in her head, but no longer could. She believed that if she killed a classmate who she felt resembled Lanza and performed a blood ritual with his remains, it would either bring Lanza's voice back to her, bring Lanza back to life outright, or both. Read that again. She wanted to murder a 15-year-old boy at her school to resurrect a dead mass murderer through a blood ritual. That is not a movie. That is not a creepy pasta. That is what a 15-year-old girl told law enforcement officers in Florida in January of 2026. She had been stalking the victim around campus since September, taking photos of him without his knowledge. She wrote a note describing the plan as a fair and beautiful scene of devotion, and wrote, "They told me that Adam would come back to speak to me if I did it for him. Adam Lanza wanted it. I think it's a fair and beautiful scene of devotion on my behalf. I love Adam Lanza. We're soulmates, just waiting to be reunited once more." The plan itself was detailed and specific in a way that makes it impossible to dismiss as just dark thoughts or edgy teenager behavior. Valdez planned to wait for the victim in the upstairs bathroom, pull him inside, and stab him in the stomach or cut his throat. She had flowers she intended to leave at the scene for his funeral. She asked Lippert to bring gloves, cigarettes, and a lighter to school. The cigarettes were for her to smoke after the killing because she knew she would be arrested afterward. She planned for the arrest. She packed for the arrest. She brought flowers for the boy she was going to kill. That level of premeditation from a 15-year-old is not something your brain is naturally equipped to process. Lippert's role is not minor. She helped sharpen the knife in a school bathroom and tested its sharpness against her own skin and against Valdez's shirt. She brought the gloves, the cigarettes, and a flower as requested. She was not a bystander who got caught up in something. She was an active participant who spent time in a school bathroom making sure the murder weapon was sharp enough. When police searched Valdez's backpack, they found the knife, cigarettes, a lighter, a black camera, a pair of used work gloves, and a yellow cloth Valdez said she would use to muffle the victim. There were also drawings of Valdez, Lanza, and the classmate, including one depicting Valdez cutting him. The whole thing reads like the planning documents someone who had been thinking about this for months, because she had, since September, 5 months of stalking a boy around a high school because he reminded her of a dead mass murderer she believed was her soulmate. That is not impulsive behavior. That is sustained, organized, delusional fixation that nobody around her caught in time. Now here's where the story takes a turn that is almost impossible to describe without just reading it directly. After the arrest, police put both girls in the back of the same patrol car. The girls didn't know they were being recorded. The conversation that happened in the car is now being used for prosecutors as evidence that these girls are a danger to the community. On the recording, Valdez says, "I was going to do my makeup this morning for the mugshot, but I couldn't find anything." She tells Lippert, "This is such a bonding experience." Lippert responds, "I know, I love it." Valdez says, "I don't feel guilty for my actions." Then she says the only person she feels bad for is her mom. They are laughing, they are joking about mugshots. They're calling a ride to jail a bonding experience. Minutes after being arrested for plotting to murder a classmate in a school bathroom using a knife they spent time sharpening together. The emotional register of that conversation is so completely disconnected from the reality of what they were just arrested for that it's genuinely one of the most unsettling things I've read in a long time. It's like watching someone total their car and immediately start rating the airbags on a scale of 1 to 10. Situation and the response to the situation have no relationship to each other whatsoever. A psychotherapist named Dr. Charlotte McCullough, who reviewed the case, said this is about our mental health crisis unfolding in real time right before our eyes. She said when teens start saying things like they're not right, or they need help, or they need to be Baker acted, it's not just attention seeking, it could literally be a cry for help. That's the part of this story that sits with me differently than the shock of the details. Because there are two ways to look at what happened here. One is that two teenagers plotted a horrific, ritualistic murder and laughed about it in a police car. The other is that one of those teenagers had been hearing voices in her head for long enough that she wrote it into her own note to her parents the night before her arrest, knew her thoughts were wrong, still ended up in a school bathroom with a sharpened knife because nobody got her the help she needed before it reached that point. The mother of the intended victim, who works as a speech-language pathologist at the same school, said the emotional toll has been a constant struggle affecting her ability to sleep and eat. She walks past that bathroom every single day. That detail alone should stop everyone. A woman who works at a school has to walk past the bathroom where someone planned to murder her 15-year-old son every day she goes to work. That's what this left behind for a real family that had nothing to do with any of it. The judge denied bond for both girls at Wednesday's hearing, ruling there was too much danger to the community for either to be released. Both have entered not guilty pleas. The hearing is scheduled for April in each case. So the whole thing was stopped because someone sent an anonymous tip through the Fortify Florida website at 11:30 at night. One person who knew something was wrong stayed up late enough to report it. That anonymous tip is the entire reason a 15-year-old boy is still alive. That's how close this came to being a completely different and far more devastating story. There's no clean takeaway from this. There's no moment where I can wrap it up with a neat observation. Two kids are in jail facing attempted murder charges as adults. A boy and his family are trying to recover from learning someone spent 5 months planning to kill him and drink his blood. A mother walks past a bathroom at her job every day. And somewhere in the chain of events that led to all of this, there were months of warning signs that didn't get caught in time. There is a serious problem happening right now in America, and I mean that literally.